to be sharing the love of the Divine Master, to be sharing the benevolence of an avatar, is a privilege that comes once in many hundreds and thousands of generations. And we are fortunate to be seated here to relive those moments that we had the good fortune of sharing with the Divine Master. Whenever I speak, and I have seen many of the elders doing the same thing, we should be very clear that this experience is not the experience that will be shared in the next 1 hour or so, is not the experience of some X, Y or Z. It is the experience that the Divine Master has chosen to give to one representative of humanity. So it is imperative that each one of us relives these experiences as if it's our own. Unless that emotional transference takes place, this is only going to be an intellectual effort. This is only going to be a storytelling, which it is not. It is the reliving of those divine moments. And one question that keeps coming up whenever I address the gathering of devotees is, how do you cope? How do you cope? This was a question that this was a topic that was foremost in the minds of a few of our brothers and sisters who spoke to me, that I should address this. So I thought, for this gathering, let's start backwards. Let's not start from the very beginning. Let's start from a new beginning. Yes, it has been a very, very difficult 2 years. We have gone through the roller coaster, which has been going downwards for a very long time. But then, the Divine Master does not allow the roller coaster to go just unidirectionally. He keeps pulling us up. He is here to raise our spirits at every point of time, just so that we get an understanding of what was the emotional turmoil we were going through. Personally, I had spent 13 years of my life with Bhagwan every single day. Every day, every night, I was with Bhagwan in his physical presence. I used to always joke, telling that I used to get 4 hours per annum as leave. When Swami used to send me shopping once in a while, and then go get something for yourself. That was the proximity that he had bestowed. And that was what got snatched away. To come to terms with that is not an easy task. In the first few months after April, we went on with the work as if putting up a brave face, telling that work that Swami has given should continue. That it is our duty, our divinely ordained duty to continue the work. And we kept pushing on with the Vidyamahini project. Then came Dasara, and there was Bhagwan's small throne that was kept for the Purnahuti on Vijayadashami day. We had made all the arrangements, we kept there. That was when it hit with the full intensity. And that throne was empty and the Purnahuti was being given. When all those 7 days, the Pandits were doing the puja, and I used to see Bhagwan sitting there, sitting next to him. And Bhagwan would in all those earlier years, whenever the Pandit used to do Surya Namaskar, he would come and offer the rose to Swami and take his Namaskar. All these things, that 7 days, the event piled on. And after Dasara came the major slump in my life. Everything lost its meaning. There was, even to get up in the morning was a task. No joy left in life. So I'm just sharing so that you understand how we have to come out of this. Every incident that we used to I used to think about, I used to project it to the future, thinking that this never again was the word that kept coming. Nevermore, nevermore. It's a beautiful poem which about a raven. It says, nevermore, nevermore. Never again would I experience those wonderful moments. What work, what Vidyavahini, what organization, what trust, everything lost its meaning. I used to be lying in the bed for days together, not getting up. My brothers who were around here got concerned, started coming to the room, chirping around and chatting, trying to chat me up and trying to take me out for a walk. Mother got concerned, she started coming and she set up camp here. Then came the birthday, 23rd of November 2011, the first birthday after Samadhi. We had made all the arrangements for the silver throne, for the silver chula, the swing. It was to get immersed in work again was a palliative, had some positive impact. But then as the birthday wound down on the 24th, I was again going down. We had gone to the mandir. There is this duty that we have been assigned, a few of us who were close to Swami. We go to Yajur Mandir, we open the door of the ground floor, we light a lamp, we chant Vedam for around 10 minutes, and we play a couple of bhajans in Swami's voice, so that we reconnect with Bhagwan, and then we come out. So that is a 15 to 20 minute ritual every day, morning and evening. So on the 24th of November, I was in Yajur Mandir as usual. So we chanted our Vedam and Swami's bhajan started. That day, instead of one, it was just the birthday, so instead of one, we played 2 bhajans. When the second bhajan started, I was so tired throughout the previous 3 days that I was sitting very next to the chair that Swami used to sit on. I was sitting just next to it. And when the second bhajan started, I dozed. I was so exhausted that I dozed. And within that 1.5 to 2 minutes, I had a very, very vivid dream of Bhagwan. In the dream, I was in the same place, the same ante-room of Yajur Mandir, but I was supine. I was lying on the floor, dead. And there was Bhagwan kneeling next to me. I could see my body and Bhagwan's shoulders from behind, as if I am floating near the ceiling. It was a dream. Please, to me it was a dream. I was dozing there, but in the dream it was so vivid that I could see Bhagwan's hands put one across the other like this. I could see his fingers, every single joint, the texture of his skin was so real to me. And I could see the crown of his hair from behind his shoulders. His hands were on my chest and he was giving me cardiac massage. It was just 2 minutes. And I got up with a concern. I told my friends, yeah, I had this strange dream. Probably Swami is indicating that you are getting too overweight and you are going to get a heart attack soon. That was the first interpretation. But then, from that day onwards, there was no looking back. The energy that I felt surging within me, the will to carry on, the great inspiration to move on with the work was unparalleled. From that day onwards, last 1.5 years, I have traveled to 34 schools across India. I have seen schools from the best schools among Sai schools to the most challenging schools. I've been on a whirlwind. The energy that keeps coming from inside is so much. And there is joy. Why? Why is there joy? Why? It was only a dream after all. It was only a dream. I'm clear about it. That it reminds me, is that real or is this real? Is that real or is this real? No, it's a dream. Then why is it giving me so much of energy? I remembered the story that Swami used to talk about, the story from the Puranas where King Janaka has this dream. For the sake of people who are unaware of who King Janaka is, King Janaka is the father of Mother Sita. He is supposed to be a Raja Yogi, a wise man, a king of great eminence. And one day he was lying on his couch and he had a dream. He just dozed and he had a dream. In the dream he sees that the neighboring king has attacked his kingdom. You should see Swami narrating this story. I can visualize Swami narrating. I was sitting in the first line and there was Swami on his discourse table. The way Swami narrates a story, it is alive in front of you. You can see the pictures. It's like a movie that rolls on when Swami narrates. And when he does that in Kodaikanal with the entire mob of children surrounding and holding on to his feet, and he keeps narrating. It's so beautiful. He's narrating the story of King Janaka, that he had a dream. Not like Martin Luther King, he had a dream, he had a different dream of the neighboring king attacking him, and he's defeated, he's thrown out of his kingdom without any clothes on, and he's going like a beggar, dying of thirst and hunger. He goes to a place and sees Narayan Seva going on. Even in those days there was Narayan Seva. So he goes to a place and he asks for food. They shove him away, telling that you have to get your begging bowl. Where's your begging bowl? He doesn't have a begging bowl. So he goes around begging for a begging bowl. Give me a bowl so that I can get food. Give me a bowl so that I can get food. And nobody is parting with their begging bowl because everybody is a beggar. Each one of us is a beggar. We keep on begging. Swami tells, don't make your degree into a begging bowl. He tells students, you get your degree, you study, and you make your degree into a begging bowl. So here is King Janaka going around searching for a begging bowl. And then he finds a small piece of broken clay begging bowl. He picks it up and runs back. By that time, all the food is over. And he, exhausted, he lies down near the place where the fire was lit to cook the food. He lies down. Somebody sees him and takes pity of him, and they scrape the bottom of the vessel and put some food onto his small bowl, the piece of the begging bowl. When he's about to eat, two bulls come, and those two bulls are ramming into each other. They're fighting, and they come and smash on him, and all the food is spilled. See the agony of the king. And he gets up. He's so shocked, so dazed, that he keeps on for the next 3 days. Swami says for the next 3 days, he was in such a dazed state that he was only asking, Adi Nijama, Idi Nijama, is that true or is this true? Am I the beggar or am I the king? That was real to me. That was real to me. That begging, the state of a beggar was real to me. What is true? And then comes the Ashtavakra Gita, the way Swami narrates. Then Swami, it is so vivid. The memories of Bhagwan narrating this story is so vivid. He talks about Ashtavakra coming, and then he goes into the background of Ashtavakra, how he was, body was all, what's it called?
Deformed.
Crippled. In 8 places it was, it had vakras or distortions, a distorted body. no, it's a beautiful, the concept, the point here is, which is true? Is that dream of Bhagwan coming and putting that energy, is that true? Or is it true that we are in a world where Bhagwan is physically not present? The Divine Master plans out so meticulously. Because what made this very real to me personally was another dream that I had. Again, dreams are always in quotes for me now. Another dream that I had in 2008. We had come back from Vrindavan in the month of May 2008. That was the last trip back from Vrindavan. Swami did not visit Vrindavan after that. When we came back, it was in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock we reached Puttaparthi. It was very hot, extremely hot. Swami told, you tell them that I will not come for evening darshan, you tell them to give aarti. I told, yes Swami, I will do that. I went up, made Swami's bed ready, quickly finished the cleaning of the room in 10 minutes and came down and told Swami, Swami, the room is ready, you can come Swami. So we took Swami up. I went and told that Swami is not coming for bhajans, please give aarti. I came back, I was also exhausted, so I lay down, put my mattress next to Swami's cot and I lay down to sleep. It was a very, very warm afternoon. It's again so vivid, so vivid. From the western window, the sun is streaming in with all its glory, with all its fury. Very warm. Swami is lying down on the bed. He is resting and I am lying down, exhausted after a long day of packing in the morning and a long travel back from Vrindavan. And within 2 minutes I am asleep. As soon as I shut my eyes, I am dreaming. And I see the dream, in the dream I see Mother Ishwarama standing in that same place. In the dream also is the same setting. There's the window through which the sun is filtering in all its fury. It's a resplendent scene and Mother Ishwarama is standing, all resplendent there. And she is talking to Swami. And Swami, even in the dream, Swami is lying on the bed. Mother Ishwarama is standing near Swami's feet. And she is talking to Swami. It was a very, very vivid dream. I opened my eyes, very full of bliss, very happy. And it was such a wonderful dream. And very lazily, I put my head up to see what Swami was doing. So, to see whether Swami is resting or not still. The moment I had looked at Swami, I saw that Swami is staring straight at me. And as soon as the eye contact happened, Swami asked, did you see? Did you see? Did you see? It's a dream. I have seen Mother Ishwarama in the dream. The moment Swami asked, did you see? Did you thrice? He asked, Chusava, Chusava, Chusava. Did you see? Did you see? Did you see? I jumped out of the bed and told Swami, Amma Darshanam Aindi Swami. Swami, I had the darshan of Mother Ishwarama. That's what I'm asking you. And then he explains, then he describes the costume, the attire that Mother Ishwarama had. See the play of words in Telugu, it's so beautiful. But these small play of words make the memory so ingrained, so etched in our psyche. He says that there's a beautiful play of words in Telugu. In all the other languages in India, in the southern languages, pacha means green, and there's a different word for yellow. So Swami told pacha ravaki pacha chira, green. In other languages it would mean green sari and green blouse. But I had very vividly seen Mother in a yellow sari and a green blouse. I told Swami, yellow sari Swami, adera. Swami said, that's what I am saying. In Telugu, but for both the words, green is called aku pacha and yellow is called pasupu pacha. Green is called the leaf pacha, the pacha of leaf, and yellow is called the pacha of turmeric. It's a beautiful play of words. Swami makes that so that it becomes ingrained, and Swami describes exactly what Mother Ishwarama wears, and he tells, she keeps coming to me regularly. Two things, two very important takeaways for me were, dreams, are they real or not? That question had been wiped out. So when I started thinking back about this, that question had been wiped out. Secondly, very important, when Mother Ishwarama, after 40 years of leaving her mortal coil, would come to Swami and talk to him, would Sai Ma, the mother, 1,000 mothers, could he ever leave us and go? A very, very powerful emotional bonding happened because of the master plan of the Divine Master. I will go into another area of what Divine Master says, of what the Divine Master always has been doing in his sojourn on this beautiful planet. That is to expand our consciousness from the petty, small idea that we are just a small individual with these limitations, with these many limitations, these many shackles, to unshackle us, to make us blossom in our fullest glory. That has been Bhagwan's mission all through his divine sojourn on earth. To make us realize that the love with which some used to call Divyatma Swarupulara, you are the embodiments of. See, we never, as children, as we were children, when we were in the college, never really understood the beauty of that word, Divyatma Swarupulara, Prema Swarupulara. It had become as if, he calls you Satyajit or he calls you XYZ. It had become a name, it had become a word, it had become an appellation. But the meaning of that word was never really comprehended in its full eternity, in its full magnitude. I'll narrate a beautiful incident very early in my association with Swami. All of you must have had some access to this on YouTube, etc. I don't know, because everything becomes a repetition. But I would really like to share this because it had such an important impact on my young mind. I was just 22 years old. It was either 1996, one of my very first travels with Bhagwan in the car. He had told me to sit inside the car and we were going for a drive. And Swami turns to me and asks, "What do you want to see?" He's sitting on the car, he's sitting on the car chair, the seat, but he's not sitting reclined on the seat, he's turned like this with all excitement, he's all animated. When Bhagwan is talking inside the interview room, he's so serene, so sedate, so stately when he goes for darshan. But when he's talking in the interview room, when he's talking to the boys, he's so lively, so animated. He's all bubbling with enthusiasm and joy. Right? He just pours it out and he's sitting like this on the chair, asking, "Tell me, what do you want to see? Kya dekh sakta hai?" I told Swami, "Nothing, Swami." "Hey, tell me, what do you want to see?" I'm not able to comprehend what Swami is asking. Swami is saying, "Boloda." He's saying, tell me, man. Boloda. He's saying, "Tell me, man." No, that's the exact translation. "Tell me, man, what do you want to see?" I'm dazed. My second time that I'm sitting next to Swami in a car, and here is Swami almost bullying me, telling me, "Tell me what you want to see." And I'm flustered, and Swami says, "Do you want to see Rama? Do you want to see Krishna?" Then it dawns to me that Swami is asking me what avatar I would like to see, what darshan would I like to have. And it just pours down into the head, all that I have read about Dr. Hislop seeing the blue form of Lord Krishna in the car when he is sitting in the front seat, and he turns back and he sees a blue form of Lord Krishna sitting on the chair. So that thing is on, that's like the monkey in the head is jumping, "Hey, ask kind of thing." And the other side tells me, "You're looking at Swami, the most beautiful form, what more do you want to see?" It's a good but then here's a chance. He's Islap was, the ego aspect. The Islap was in the front seat. I'm in the back seat, and I can boast that I had Swami's darshan right close. That ego aspect is, jumping like a monkey here. But then again, the sedate, that love aspect says, you are having Swami's darshan. What more do you want? I tell Swami, no Swami, I want to see only Swami. Hey, that is different. You tell. He's again pulling me. What do you want to see? Do you want Swami? Itna bar puch sakta hai Swami? Swami said, why do you want to make Swami ask so many times? Tell me, what do you want to see, man? Bolo da, bolo. Tell, man, tell. Then he asked, Narsimha Avatar dekh sakta hai? Immediately, no Swami. Absolutely, very clear that I don't want to see the half lion, half human form. No, absolutely not. I don't want to see that. Very clear about that. The old man dekh sakta hai? He asked me, do you want to see the old man? Referring to the previous avatar, Shirdi avatar. He told, no Swami, I want to see only Swami. That is different. So Swami is almost acting as if he is getting irritated. Like, hey, bolo da. Tell, man, again. I'm telling him, so now, I'm in a fix. Swami is asking so many times. He had already told that, how many times will you make Swami ask this question? I told Swami, Vishwarup dekh sakta hai. I want to see the Vishwarupa darshan. No, it's a very tactful answer. So I'm not asking for any other avatar. I'm very loyal to this avatar, but I'm asking for Vishwarupa darshan. Very tactful answer. And Swami, who was sitting like this, he sits back onto his chair. He sits, his back is touching the backrest again. He points his hand, his expressive, his beautiful hand. He points out of the window and says, "Roz dekhta hai, samajh mein nahi aata." You see it every day, but you are not able to comprehend it. He has just pointed out of the window and said, it's open fields outside. He tells, you have been seeing it every day. The Vishwarup darshan is out there for you to see every day, but you do not comprehend. 22-year-old young man. The head is in a churn. What is Bhagavan telling? This is the second interaction, right? Normally, when you are interacting with a new acquaintance, how do you introduce? You are just, you have to walk before you run, as they say. And this is the second interaction with Bhagavan, and Bhagavan has pitched it that sky high. He's telling that you are seeing it every day, and then you are unable to comprehend that. Made my head go in a dizzy. I always joke telling that I have been looking out of the window for the last 13-15 years now, trying to see what did Swami mean by that. How can we see Bhagavan in every single atom? That's the expansion of consciousness that Bhagavan does. And it is the same continuity of the philosophy, because it is not a philosophy that's an external philosophy. It is what Swami always is. So one day, it was in the year 2008. I'm just continuing, it's nearly 12 years later. There's a radio Sai conversation going on in the background in Swami's room. We had installed the radio Sai instrument in Swami's room. The Swami also used to listen to radio Sai. Venkatraman sir used to ask me, hey Satyajit, you should give me inside information about the prime time. What is the time that Swami listens to we'll put the best program during that time. Right? So I used to feed insider information to Venkatraman sir. So 7:30 to 8:30 PM used to be the prime time for Radio Sai, and because Bhagavan would be listening to Radio Sai. One day, a beautiful conversation was going on. It was a question answer. There's a program called Question Answer that used to come in Radio Sai, where one of the elders used to read out some question that devotees from across the world used to ask, some spiritual doubts, and he would give some reply. So one of the questions was, can an atheist get self-realization? Can an atheist get self-realization? A very, very profound question. And a beautiful answer was being given, telling that how atheists are wonderful people. There are many people amongst atheists, so though they do not believe in God, they are so dedicated in their work, they have led a life of such righteousness, that they are wonderful human beings. They have done so much good to society. But then they do not have the belief in God, they do not have the belief in self. So there is no question of self-realization. This is the answer that is coming on the radio. There is no question of self-realization, but because of the wonderful life that they have led, they would definitely be blessed with a next birth in a family which believes, which has that faith in God, and their path to self-realization would be very smooth, the next birth. So, beautiful explanation that was being given. The conversation was so good that I wanted to, we are all ignorant. We always want to bring Swami's attention to something. Swami keeps telling that I am Satchit Ananda. I am constant integrated awareness. I am always aware of everything. There was a time when he was sitting in the Trai Vrindavan Jhula. He was sitting in the Jhula along with boys, and he tells, see, so-and-so boy has just entered the compound. He is now walking towards that direction. No, he has stopped. He is coming in this direction. And now he is entering. See, he is there at the door. And everybody turns back, and that boy is entering. Everybody is looking aghast at Swami. See, it is very simple. Just like when an ant is crawling on your foot, you don't have to see the ant to know that the ant is crawling on your foot. You are aware of it. So also, I am aware of what happens everywhere in this universe. This is the consciousness, and here we are, the petty mind that we have, to draw Swami's attention to the conversation. Swami, there's a very beautiful conversation that is happening on the radio, and somebody has asked the question, can an atheist get self-realization? And the answer for that is being given as, Swami cuts me mid-sentence and says, definitely they will have self-realization. Anyone who can give up body attachment will get self-realization. It took a lot of thought. It took me a lot of, it shook me to the very foundations about what is Bhagwan's philosophy. All these labels about religious man, about a Sai devotee, we get to hear a lot about he's a non-devotee. It's a beautiful tag that we have. He's a non-devotee, but he's a good man, right? The wonderful tags that we have. These tags are ours. Here is Bhagwan telling that an atheist can get self-realization if only he is able to give up body attachment. A beautiful, profound statement that Bhagwan makes. And that is the level at which Bhagwan always used to converse, many of the times. But it should not look as if, we have to really start thinking about what do we mean by this concept of giving up body attachment. It's a conversation in itself. It's a topic that needs to be delved into and analyzed threadbare. Maybe we could do it some other time. I would leave you with that thinking. What do you mean by leaving a body attachment, giving a body attachment? What do you mean by self-realization? It's just to link it back to the previous thing of Vishwarupa. Swami, we finished the car drive and we came back. How Swami links the Vishwarupa darshan to self-realization, just to give that, to tie up the whole thing, to talk about, tie up the whole concept. In '96, when we finished that drive, when he told that you see the Vishwarupa every day but you are not able to comprehend, we completed the drive, we came back to Vrindavan. Swami went upstairs. There's a small vestibule that connects the main building to the dining hall of Vrindavan. So Swami was climbing down those 6 or 7 stairs leading to the dining hall, and Mrs. Ratanlal, who was one of the very, very old devotees of Bhagwan, who had cooked for Swami for the last 40 years, she's still very much alive and active. She is just 92 years young, but all energy. She was standing at the end of the corridor, and I could see, I was following Swami. Swami is doing this. I could see Swami's hand going like this. But because of experience, I knew Swami is telling, see this fellow, kind of an expression. So Mrs. Ratanlal is asking, Swami, what did the young boy do now, Swami? Abhi bachche ne kya kiya, Swami? Because she has seen generations of boys being trained by Swami, and here is one more new boy, and Swami is coming, with this kind of a thing. So she is gearing up, telling, okay, there is going to be some fireworks now. So Swami, what did the child do now, Swami? That's the question. देखो, स्वामी सेवा का अवकाश मिला है, मोक्ष के बारे में पूछता है. He says he has got the opportunity to serve Swami, and he is asking questions about how to get liberation. I protested, Swami, I didn't ask about moksha, Swami. I only asked about Vishwarupa. Try to put these dots together. To be able to see divinity everywhere means to be liberated. To be able to be liberated is the same as giving up body attachment. We are emotionally bound to everything that has to do something or the other with our body. Our sensory needs, our physical needs, our physical relationships, our relationships with friends, because our body is related to that friend's body. Everything in life has to do with body attachment. We are living in a web, without realizing, we are living in a very, very tight web that of expectations from one another, expectations from the other, which ties us down, which there is no independence. To be able to see through this, to be able to cut through the body attachment, to be able to expand our love to every one of the human beings, everything on this planet, everything in this universe, that is the expansion Bhagavan always used to keep prodding us on. There's a beautiful letter, the letter that Swami had written to his brother, brings out quite a few points. I would like to relate some of the incidents that I have been witness to in the light of that beautiful letter. That letter was in the 1950s. I am putting it, how it was still relevant half a century later, and how Bhagwan's mission was one continuous saga of beauty and concern for others and love. Right? That's how I am able to perceive the love of the Divine Master. So the first thing he says in that letter is, I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure for them lives full of ananda. He was here to give ananda throughout. I was a young boy, because we were always boys in Swami's eyes, a young man of 22. Bhagwan would call, when I was doing my MBA, he would call me to the interview room every day around 2:45. In the afternoon, I would come in, I would sit with Swami for about an hour. The Vice Chancellor and the registrar of the college, university would be called in, and some conversation would be happening. He would ask about it was just an opportunity to spend time with Bhagwan doing Path Seva. So this was, how much time do we have? Till what time do we go on? Till 9 o'clock, 9:15?
9:30.
You're not working anymore.
Okay. So, this was the time when Bhagwan had called me one day. So every day the schedule would be, Swami would come at around 2:45. I would be inside the interview room. Swami would come in and take me to the kitchen. Make sure that a loaded plate is kept in front of me. A loaded plate. I mean, literally, you used to struggle to finish that plate, and Swami would say, "It's all right. You can eat. You're a young boy." So this is actually the outcome of that. So the love with which Bhagwan used to feel, and then he would come and sit in the interview room, call the Vice Chancellor and the registrar, and he would speak, and he would ask me, "So what happened today? What did you learn at school?" The beautiful book that we are reading. So what did you ask in school today? It's like the importance of a mother asking the question to a child every day. And so what did you ask in school today? What did you learn in school today? Right? The mother should be asking the child so that all that the child has learned in school gets reinforced. Right? So Bhagwan would do that role to me. So what did you learn at college today? And other things. This is the conversation. That would be the time for me to practice Telugu. With my broken Telugu, I used to Swami used to insist that I speak in Telugu. That's how I learned Telugu. To speak, to communicate with Swami. So this was a typical day. But on this day, I noticed that Swami is not speaking to me. He is speaking only to the Vice Chancellor and the registrar. There's a beautiful relationship between boys and Swami. And one of the unique features of anybody who is sitting very close to Swami's chair is the handkerchief duty. Every time Swami would pick up the handkerchief, he would wipe the, he has a unique way of wiping. He'll do this, and he'll put the handkerchief back in a haphazard manner, because that's a chance for the boy to set it right, the handkerchief. So, all the boys who were sitting right next to Swami's chair would be like, full concentration would be on the handkerchief. When will Swami pick up the handkerchief, and then you have to set it right, right? So you are focused totally on Swami's hand and Swami's handkerchief. So this was I was very joyfully doing this on that day. So, after that you get some guts and you keep your hand on the armrest. You're done the handkerchief, you don't pull the hand out, you keep the hand on the hand, so that Swami's hand, keeps patting your, whenever he's, so you get a divine touch of the Lord. So Swami was tapping my hand, he was talking to them, he started tapping my hand, and he's playing with my fingers, he's bending one finger at a time, he's doing it. He's playing, but he's continuously talking, not even looking at me, not even talking to me, and he's just tapping the hand, and it was going on. After some time I felt that there was an intense desire to giggle. I was unable to control. It was just coming up in waves from inside. Coming up, the joy, the real joy that is coming out is I am unable to be seated stable there. There is just, the joy is pouring out of my, I am flushed, my face is flushed. I could feel waves of bliss coming out of my heart. And Bhagavan is ignoring me completely. He's not even looking at me. The daily schedule used to be, he would finish about 45 minutes of talk, and then he'll tell, come, we have to go. Devotees are all waiting. You go, I'll come for darshan. And then Bhagavan would go inside, he'll brush his hair and come all spurged up for the devotees. So on this day, Swami said, that was the only time he looked at me. Then he told the Vice Chancellors, all three of you sit here, I'll finish darshan and come. He didn't send us out. So he went out, finished that, I think one of the fastest darshans. He finished by 8 or 10 minutes, he finished the whole round, and he came back. This was 96. And he came back into the interview room and sat again. It was around 3 o'clock. From 3 o'clock to 5:30, he sat and he was continuously talking to the Vice Chancellor and the Registrar, and I was doing my handkerchief duty. And for 2.5 hours, the waves of bliss continued to come. I am here to give lives full of ananda to my devotees. That is, he had given a glimpse of what it means to have the bliss, the fount of bliss open within you. Then it is a lifetime's quest to get back to that fount. How do you get back to that fount again? How do you release that divine bliss from within so that you can re-experience that joy? But it is not just the spiritual bliss. Living with Swami is loads of fun. I narrate this, I don't know whether, even if you have heard, I like sharing this 100 times. This was the year 2000. I was going through a bad patch. Everybody goes through a bad patch with Swami, because that's actually the best patch, because that's when the grilling happens and where the fireworks happen and where the gold is being, the molten is being melted into the desired shape. So I was going through the so-called bad patch, and everything that I used to do, I used to get fired. Hey, you are a useless boy. You are egoistic. Those things. There are some times in one's life where you can never do anything right. Everything that you do, you'll get fired by Bhagavan. So that was the phase I was going through. Bhagavan came up. This was in Vrindavan again. He came to the dining hall and said, "Hey, what is that box?" I told Swami, "I don't know, Swami." Find out. What is the point in telling that you don't know? Find out and tell me. I told, "Yes, Swami." I opened the carton box. It had come by post. I opened the carton box. I opened one flap and I told Swami, pickles. These are pickles. Somebody had sent pickles for Swami. Because Swami's kitchen is a vast kitchen, because he feeds the boys. It was summer course was about to start, so it was a huge carton box of pickles for the boys probably. So I opened the pickle bottle. I took out the pickle bottle and Swami said, "Show me." I opened the lid of the pickle bottle and I took it close to Swami. Swami took Nagat Iskora. I told, "Bring it closer," and he smelt it And he told, okay, keep it inside. He told, be careful, your shirt will become red. Chokke rai bote jagrata. Be careful. So I was going through the monkey mind phase, so I told, I was thinking in my head, Swami, I'm not that careless. Monkey mind always keeps chattering around, so I'm not that careless. Swami was the thought. And I closed the lid, put it very carefully inside. Swami had gone to the dining hall for his lunch. I was following Swami with a spring in my steps, telling that, see, nothing happened to my shirt. He finished his dinner, came back around 3:30, and it was as if he had pressed the rewind button. He comes and asks me the same question in the same tone, what is there in the box? So I am very smart, I know what is in the box, right? So I am not playing the same role. I told Swami, I showed you in the morning, Swami, it's pickle. Hey, open it properly. This was the right answer, right? I told you show it, but no, I'll get a firing even for that. So I saw that I have not opened the other flap. The carton box has got two flaps. I opened the other flap, I saw there were ketchup bottles. I told Swami, ketchup. Ketchup, Swami doesn't know anything, right? Swami asked, what is ketchup? So we, all knowing once, we explained to Swami, ketchup is tomato chutney, right? So Swami tells, open the bottle. So I'll never forget the bottle. It was a red plastic bottle with a white lid. I opened it. I've seen Coke doing it. I've seen Pepsi doing it. But I've never seen ketchup doing it. The moment I opened it, it was shh. I was worried because I'm going through a blasting phase. I thought I have had it. But I hear a thud behind me. Swami has almost fallen on the door. And he's laughing away. He's laughing. He's not able to breathe. He's laughing away that much. And he's wagging his finger saying, what did I tell you in the morning? I didn't say you'll get pickle on your shirt. I told you your shirt will become red. There it is. Right? There it is. I have come to give lives full of bliss to my devotees. This is, every time I see ketchup, every time I see pickle, I am very careful. And I remember what Bhagavan did on that day. Where is bliss? Where is Ananda? Bhagavan used to say, be happy. He always used to say, be happy, be always happy was a blessing. But it was not just a blessing, it's an instruction. See the difference? It's not a blessing. It is a blessing, yes, it is a blessing, be happy. But it is also an instruction. You be happy, because to be happy is in your hands. It is not, happiness is not outside. That was the most fundamental teaching of our Divine Master. To be happy is in your hands. We had gone to a resort, a game sanctuary called Bandarghatta, very close to Bangalore. And Swami had taken a group of Kodaikanal boys to that place. We had gone in our cars and vehicles, etc. And then in the game sanctuary, only the game sanctuary's bus is allowed with all those grills on the window, etc. And it's a rickety jalopy, right? Gada, 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 all kinds of noises it was making. We had to make Swami climb into this. It was 97 or probably 98. Swami is sitting in that vehicle and we are going inside the game sanctuary. At one place, they brought the young one of a cheetah, of a leopard. They brought, and they were holding that leopard. And Bhagavan is, he's sitting on the seat, that very dirty seat, very old bus. He's sitting like a child, talking to all the boys. And when this cheetah was brought, he's holding the front seat, the backrest of the front seat, and the backrest of this seat, and he's staring at that. He's staring with such intensity, as a child, with that childlike joy. I had the good fortune of seeing his eyes. When he was looking at that cheetah, he turned and looked at me. I could see the twinkle. That's when I realized what it means to see a twinkle in somebody's eye. You have read about it, you have heard about it, to see the twinkle in somebody's eye. I saw that twinkle in that divine eyes. His eyes are like a child. Swami's eyes are like a child. He's looking at his, seeing that. Where is bliss? The bliss is in the cheetah. Is it? 2011. Bhagavan was weak. The body was very weak. He would never come for morning darshans. And even in the evening darshans, he used to come at around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So there was no exposure to the sun. So what I used to do was I used to open the balcony of the upper story of Yeju Mandir and make sure that Swami has breakfast just inside the balcony. He has no privacy. Bhagavan has no privacy. He comes out, there will be 100 devotees surrounding. He cannot come out to the balcony. He's inside. But I used to at least make sure that at least some sunlight falls. There used to be pigeons, doves, not the white ones, the grey ones, the ordinary looking pigeons used to be going up and down the balcony. The same bliss that I had, the same twinkle that I had seen in Swami's eyes when he looked at the cheetah in 2011 in a weak body, that same bliss was there in his eyes when he's looking at that dove. And he's looking, that same look he had given me, the look that he had given me in the bus, the same look he had given me just seeing those pigeons walking up and down. Where is the bliss? In the pigeon? In the cheetah? Inside. It is inside. To be able to experience the bliss in everything that you see is a great lesson that the Divine Master teaches by the simplest of things. We don't need the greatest of miracles to believe in the Divine Master. It is the simplest of things that teaches us the most profound of lessons. The bliss is within. The second vow that Swami had written in his letter is, I have a vow to lead all who stray away from the straight path again into goodness and save them. We all make mistakes in life. There was a time where I had stayed in the hostel for 5 years, from 91 to 96, with hardly any interaction with Swami. So I used to call it that I have lived in 2 hostels. 91 to 96 was a hostel where Bhagavan had never spoken to me, and none of the rules of the hostel used to make sense to me. I was a very boisterous young man, full of energy, a wild stallion, with so much of energy but no direction in life. And it's the only thing is you have to be good in dramatics, you have to be good in sports, and be very clear that on the sports meet prize distribution day I should be there for Bhagavan to put 1 medal around my neck. And that was the happiness that we should derive from being a Sai student. But then when Bhagavan started speaking, every single rule in the hostel started making absolute sense. Everything is there for our good, for our progress. And I started following those rules and started living a disciplined life in my MBA. And when I came to the interview room one fine day, I saw Swami standing like Lord Narasimha. The darshan that I had totally denied Swami, I don't want to see. The car, I got it that day. He's full of anger. He's got a letter in his hand and he tells me, see what the boys are writing about you. See what the warden is writing about you. That you are a very noisy fellow, that you are not following any discipline. I don't know Swami, I am following Swami. Hey, jhoot bolta hai, you are a liar, Swami says. I don't know Swami, I am following it. See, all your friends are writing about you, telling that you don't follow discipline, that Swami is wasting his time on you. That Swami is wasting his time on this boy. That's what the boys are writing about you. The warden is writing about you. I saw that the weapons of mass destruction are coming towards me, right? So I knelt down. I knelt down and I was wondering how to deal with this. And then Swami gave the most potent of his weapons, the real nuclear bomb. He said that Swami is getting a bad name because of you. And that hit me. I broke down, I started crying. The moment you cry, the mother's heart melts. Immediate. He was from, we can imagine how the young boy Prahlada, because of whose prayers Lord Narasimha Avtara had come. And he was the only boy who was not afraid of Lord Narasimha. Swami says that when the whole kingdom was shivering with fear after that half lion, half human form of that ferocious form of the Lord had torn apart that Hiranyakashipu, and he was sitting on that throne with anger. Prahlada was the only one who would approach and calm down the Divine Lord. The innocence of the young boy. And when I cried, Bhagavan melted. And Narasimha Avatara became the loving Lord again. He put his hand on the back of my neck, the back of my head, and took me closer to him. My forehead touched his chest, Bhagavan's chest. His robe became wet because of my tears. And within that very moment, all that sobbing stopped, immediately stopped. Bhagavan took me closer to the chair and he told me, see, I will tell you something, listen carefully. No, this is in the context of, I have come to bring back those who have gone astray. I have come to bring them back to the path of love and goodness. See the care, see the love with which Bhagavan does. He had promised that 50 years, half a century back. This is in 96, he is the same Lord. And he tells me, when you were a small child of this age, when you were a small child, did you run around the house without any clothes on? The smile is gone. The tears are gone, and I imagine myself as a small 3-year or 4-year-old child running around. And I told, yes, Swami. And he asked, will you do it now? I told, no, Swami. See, he can transform. He is the master Sutradhari, as they call it. He is the divine director. He can bring various emotions into the drama in no time. He can change emotions. I was crying, and within a minute he is making me laugh. He says, no, Swami. Will you do it now? No, Swami. Then comes the most important question. He says, now, today, are you ashamed that as a child you used to run around naked? I told, no, Swami. Swami says, that was appropriate for that age. This is appropriate for this age. And you need not be ashamed of what you did as a child. Similarly, what you did before Swami spoke to you was appropriate for that age. See the labels of devotee, non-devotee that we have, you know, the prejudices that we have, the belief systems that we have, and which makes us different, which makes us so-called different from others. It is all our labels. Here is Bhagavan telling that is appropriate for that state. Now that Swami has started speaking to you, you have to lead an ideal life. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed of what you were before, because that was appropriate for that age. Just wiping out all the past, and tells, make a new beginning now. He tells, I am bringing you back to the path of goodness. Lead a good life now. The amount of self-confidence that I got from that, is what makes me confident of telling that I had led a rowdy life. He used to always call, there are beautiful words, he used to always combine Bombay with rowdy. He used to say, hey, Bombay rowdy. He used to never call the boys, any boys from Bombay, he used to call Bombay rowdy. So, unfortunately I was from Bombay. So he used to always call that. So, the confidence that came, that we have to lead a life worthy of the Divine Master. Every moment, we have to choose every moment to lead a life that is worthy of the Divine Master. He says, I am attached to the work that I love. Swami says, I am attached, a beautiful word, it tells that I am attached to a work that I love. To remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them what they lack. I was there I had the good fortune of being present when the seeds of the current Gram Seva was sown. The Gram Seva, the entire village integrated program that started a few years back, and much before that, when Swami started sending these boys to do Gram Seva, to go and give, thousands of boys used to go, hundreds of boys going with thousands of packets of food and clothing. Nearly 40,000 saris and 40,000 dhotis are distributed during those 10 days of Dasara. How it all began was with a newspaper article. Swami was reading the newspaper in 1999. I was sitting there. Suddenly I saw Swami shaking with emotion. Here is the Lord, the detached Lord, the absolutely the Lord with absolute equanimity. And he is sobbing in agony because he had seen one article in the newspaper where a mother had committed suicide after throwing her own children into the well, she had jumped into the well because she was not able to feed her children. The agony on Swami's face. I was there with Chiranjeev Rao sir had come. Chiranjeev Rao was a very, very good devotee of Bhagavan, was very close to Swami. He came and he was also sitting there. And Swami is unable to take the magnitude of this. He's telling that in this land of Bharat, in this pious land, is there nobody to take care of one mother and her children? The impact that had, and from that started this huge rollout of first the Gram Seva, then this village integrated program, where the organization is doing consistent work in nearly 1,500 villages across India. That is how the Divine Master works. And finally, I would end with the last vow that Swami had taken. I have a reason to be proud, for I rescue all those who worship and adore me. But I have a definition for devotion. I expect those devoted to me to treat joy and grief, gain and loss with equal fortitude. A very, very profound statement of the Bhagavan. I protect those who are devoted to me. We don't have to enumerate the number of examples that we have from Kobe to Karimnagar of how Bhagavan has protected the devotees from earthquake, from tsunami. I've heard so many instances of being narrated of houses with Swami's photos being intact in a neighborhood where everything else has been destroyed. The protection of the Divine Master is like a shield. My parents had gone through an accident. Father had gone and rammed into a vehicle, into a big truck, which was carrying huge, those long construction rods. They carry these huge rods which keep protruding out of the truck. So even the red light of the truck, which if by some miracle is glowing, even if it is glowing, the trucks normally the lights don't glow. The back, and in the night you go, even if that is glowing, the protrusion of those iron rods are much further. So Father had gone and rammed into that vehicle. There was a hole in the middle between the two passengers. My father and my mother were sitting in the front seat. Father was driving. There was a hole in the middle between them. A rod had entered. Between them, nothing had happened. The back seat which was supposed to be straight, had become like this. The back seat had become like this. But these two people were in a bubble, not a scratch on them. The car was beyond repair, but not a scratch, literally not a scratch on them. They come out and they call me up from somewhere near Bagepalli, around 100 kilometers from here. We call some devotees, and the love that Swami showered on them after that. The protection of the Divine Master is always there. And that protection has nothing to do with the physical presence of the Divine Master. It is the presence of the Divine Master in our hearts that keeps protecting us. And that love that makes us feel belonging, feel that we belong to the Divine Master. That is our protection. That is our greatest good fortune. That's our greatest treasure. Is it not? That is the greatest treasure that we have got. And finally, the concept of being happy. I'll end with one beautiful quote from Swami. He very, very beautifully tells, there is one thing that I want to experience. I want to experience what is worry. He's telling him, you worry ante emi naaku teliyadu. What is this? What is this worry? How does it feel like? It's beautiful, such a beautiful way of conveying in such a light-hearted manner that I do not know what worry is. I don't know what is a headache. I have never had a headache in my life. Swami says. He says that they say that there is some pounding that happens, and they say that there is some pain here, there is some pain here. I have never experienced that. What is this headache? What is this worry? Swami says. And he says, when he says that our lives should be his message. Let us think back on all these experiences that we have had with the Divine Master, and continuously keep thinking how that becomes a part of our lives. how we become divine. Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram.